Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and a very warm welcome to all of you to our webinar today on digital fundraising through the Islamic capital market to foster the growth of halal businesses. My name is Nabina and I represent Capital Markets Malaysia. It's our absolute honor today to be joining the Halal Development Corporation in the delivery of this webinar, which is the first in a series of webinars that's being organized to raise awareness of the alternative funding options that are available to halal businesses, focusing on Sharia-compliant digital finance to support MSME growth. So to begin the session, I would like to welcome Tuan Haji Adli Muhammad, Chief Commercial Officer from Halal Development Corporations, to deliver his welcome remarks.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh and a very good morning to all of you. May I first say what an honor and pleasure it is for me to be here this morning, albeit virtually. Today's program is the first of several series of programs planned in view of raising awareness on alternative fundraising options for halal businesses, focusing on Sharia-compliant digital financing to support the growth of Malaysia's micro, small, medium enterprises or MSMEs. This program, ladies and gentlemen, is indeed a milestone in itself for Malaysia's halal industry. This initiative is organized by Capital Markets Malaysia or CMM, which is under the purview of Securities Commission Malaysia in collaboration with Halal Development Corporation or HDC. The main goal of this collaboration is to share insights of the exciting Islamic finances role within the halal ecosystem and at the same time towards ensuring the continued robust growth of Malaysia's halal businesses and the promising future that it has. HDC, an agency under the Ministry of International Trade and Industry or MITI, is truly honored to partner with CMM in carrying out a strong message that will resonate to ensure that the halal industry remains resilient and become a strong contributor to the global economic recovery. In this light, the halal industry stakeholders must persevere and hold steadfast to chart future growth by inventing synergistic partnerships that will bring forth the halal industry and its performance to much greater heights of achievement. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm made to understand that the program sign up for today will provide an overview of the Islamic finance landscape, which will provide an analysis of the business foundation and fundraising of accessibility to non-traditional source of Sharia-based funds. Inshallah, God willing, this would be truly an inspiring session. I do believe the focus will also be in Securities Commission Sharia Screening and SMEs Toolkit for Islamic Funding, which was launched recently in August. It covers the accessibility to equity, crowdfunding, and peer-to-peer financing mechanisms. Hence, the mechanisms will provide a guideline of ethical investments for the halal industry, whilst simultaneously enabling growth of the Islamic capital markets. Ladies and gentlemen, as the halal industry faces challenges due to the lack of funding, this initiative will certainly be a viable solution that provides the impetus for MSMEs to acquire Sharia-compliant Islamic financing. I certainly have no doubt that the discourse will pave the way towards greater understanding of Islamic funding available for MSMEs and at the same time leveraging on HDC Halal Integrated Platform as the halal digital platform for the accessibility to these funding solutions. HDC Halal Integrated Platform of HIP was launched by the Prime Minister on 9 September as a halal digital community platform that connects members to key stakeholders, including government, state agencies, certification bodies, industry players, practitioners, scholars, consumers, all under a single platform. The key benefits include preferred halal consultancy and training rates, access to halal ingredient database, business support services, and many, many more. I would like to reaffirm the HDC's openness to collaborate with any financial institutions to be a member of HIP so as to further enhance and grow the global sector, especially to increase the number of Malaysia's halal companies via this vital halal digital platform. I'm pleased to note that the strategic collaboration between HDC and CMM was set as a yardstick that will serve to enhance the growth and sustainability of the halal MSME, not only in Malaysia, ladies and gentlemen, but towards becoming the halal champion in the global arena. Ladies and gentlemen, the global halal market is estimated to be worth more than USD 3.1 trillion annually. HDC's initiative in promoting the halal industry in major economic sectors such as finance, food, pharmaceutical, logistics, cosmetics, and services has certainly been a major contributor to the growth of our economy. The halal food industry alone is worth USD 1.6 trillion, while the halal cosmetic industry and the halal pharmaceutical industry are both worth approximately USD 39 billion and USD 97 billion respectively. Ladies and gentlemen, the global halal market is estimated to be worth as much as USD 5 trillion by 2030, and that's just a few years away. Hence, there are boundless opportunities in these halal industries, not only in terms of businesses, but equally and vitally important is the ability to cater to the self-sufficiency of a nation. HDC recognizes the potential of the halal industry and of the Islamic banking and finance. Together, they have the potential to be the catalyst for the development of Islamic economy. HDC will continue to support the development of these two industries as they can tremendously benefit to both the country and the Muslim Ummah globally. Imagine the amount of opportunities being made available to create a resilient and robust Islamic economy that will work closely together and create more funding facilities post-COVID-19 pandemic to these MSMEs. It is important for us to set our priorities right, particularly in the phase of global economic recovery. Our priority will be expanding on the multitude of business opportunities, more importantly to ensure the sustainability of the whole halal ecosystem in Malaysia. HDC is committed towards a competitive halal industry that consistently innovates and produces products and services that suits the industry needs, enhance ease of doing business, and to position Malaysia as the leader in the global industry by increasing our MSMEs capabilities, capacities, and in turn foster more strategic partnership and alliances internationally. In closing, ladies and gentlemen, I look forward very much to hearing fresh, new and innovative ideas and insights for the advancement and further understanding of market-based Sharia-compliant fundraising activities beyond traditional funding options, and ultimately, ladies and gentlemen, reach out to a wider pool of MSMEs. Both HDC and CMM will continue to support the progress and advancement of these two industry segments as they are complementary to one another and will exponentially bring benefit to both Malaysia and the Muslim Ummah globally. Thank you. Wabillahi taufiq wa hidayah. Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you very much for those remarks, Tuan Haji Adli. CMM is also very much looking forward to collaborating with the HDC in supporting funding options for Malaysia's halal businesses. Next up, ladies and gentlemen, it is my privilege to welcome Ritsam Zaidi, Assistant General Manager of Securities Commission Malaysia, to deliver his presentation on the Islamic capital market and specifically also on the Securities Commission's recently released Sharia Screening Assessment Toolkit for unlisted MSMEs. Ritsam, the floor is yours.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum everybody. Good morning everybody to all participants here. Today what I'm going to do, I'm going to go through with you in terms of providing some information, brief information on Islamic capital market. Generally, I have a few sections of my presentation. Firstly, I'm going to talk about briefly on Securities Commission as well as Islamic capital market. Secondly, I'm going to go through in terms of product of Islamic capital market, the broad overview of Islamic capital market in terms of products. Thirdly, I'm going to go through in terms of the recent initiative that we just launched in August, which is the SME toolkit for assessment, Sharia compliant assessment for toolkit for MSMEs. So if I can bring up my slides, if somebody can bring up the slide for me. Okay, thank you. Okay, first of all, I think I would also like to say thank you to the organizer, Capital Market Malaysia, as well as HDC for inviting us to talk on specifically on the Islamic capital market. If I can move on to my next slide. Okay. Brief background of Securities Commission Malaysia. Securities Commission Malaysia is the main regulator for the capital market. It was established 1st March 1993 under the Securities Commission Malaysia Act, and it reports to the Minister of Finance, and its accounts are tabled in Parliament annually. If you look this slide, the main regulator for the capital market. So what is it? What is the capital market? So capital market, in short, is a place that brings together those seeking capital or wants to raise funds with those with capital to lend or invest. Example, investor wants to invest in any equity product or sukuk issued by company who wants to raise a fund. So under the scope of capital market, the typical one will be the Bursa Malaysia, where this where you trade securities or equity market of public listed companies. You have stockbroker who facilitate the transaction of the securities. You have asset managers who manages a fund. And you have investment banks who actually facilitate in terms of issuing capital market products, for example, sukuk and bond. If I can go to the next slide. As the capital market is mainly for the place where funds or money are exchanged between investor or lenders to those who seek capital for use, either for use for working capital or for long-term capital requirement for business needs. So the role of and function of the SE obviously to promote and maintain fair, efficient, secure and transparent securities and derivative market, and to facilitate the orderly development of an innovative and competitive capital market. If you look from this slide, because we are the regulator of the capital market, where the investor meets the parties who needs money, so the investor protection element is very important in terms of regulating the capital market. Of course, product and services. Anybody who wants to offer capital market product and services, they need to go through the regulator, the SE. For example, if you want to have your product issue Islamic capital market product in the market, that you need to go through and you need to get either approval or registration from Securities Commission. So we also have one of the function, we also have enforcement, just to make sure that the market is running or operating in orderly manner. So if I can go to the next slide. So that is actually briefly on the on SC, Securities Commission, as a regulator of capital market, main regulator of capital market. Now I'm going to zoom in. I think it's more relevant to halal industry or halal economy, which is the Islamic capital market. So what is Islamic capital market? Islamic capital market sits within the broad capital market regulation. Is actually referred to market where the capital market transaction, operation and activities are carried out in ways that are consistent with Sharia principles and requirements. So the main one that we look which prohibits as opposed to the conventional one, we prohibits riba, element of ambiguity, gharar, elements of gambling, and also any product and services that is not Sharia compliant, prohibited from Islam, is actually obviously is prohibited. So within the overall capital market, Malaysia ICM operates under the Capital Market Services Act, and also benchmark to the International Organization of Securities Commission, IOSCO, Principle of Securities Regulation. And in addition to the overall regulatory framework for capital market, for Islamic capital market, we also have a Sharia governance framework to facilitate or to support the development of Islamic capital market product as well as services. If I can go to the next slide. Okay, that is actually briefly on Islamic capital market. Then I want to provide some overview. If we talk about Islamic capital market, what is the size of Islamic capital? What are the type of product that Islamic capital market offers to the public? If you look the size of Islamic capital market, Malaysia Islamic capital market, we measure our size of contributed by two components. Mainly is the market capitalization of Sharia compliant securities. This is stock listed on Bursa Malaysia, which we have about 1.7 trillion ringgit as at June 2021. Second component, we have sukuk outstanding, which roughly about 1 trillion ringgit as at June 2021. So this is the main component of Islamic capital market and how we measure our size of Islamic capital market. But from what you see from the slide, the capital market is actually, this is the common type of product under the capital market, but we also have other segment of capital market that support or make up the overall component of total Islamic capital market. If you look in terms of breakdown of the Sharia compliant securities, I don't want to go into detail, but if you look at the background of the Sharia compliant securities, we have about 79.5% of listed securities under Bursa Malaysia, which is Sharia compliant securities, and mainly is on the main market, and we also have East market and also lead market, which I will explain later in terms of stages of fundraising activities. If I can go to the next slide. So talk about equity market. The other main component of Islamic capital market is the sukuk market, and if I compare the sukuk market, Malaysia sukuk market against a global global market. So Malaysia is the leading country for sukuk issuance and also outstanding globally. If you look at the percentage, represent 32.8% for the issuance of sukuk and 44.8% for sukuk outstanding. And I mentioned that the other component also is a critical or main component of Islamic capital market is the fund management segment. If you look at the fund management segment, we have 56 fund management companies managing Islamic funds. 23 of these 56 is a full-fledged Islamic fund management companies, meaning they are only doing Islamic services only, and 33 fund management company offering through Islamic windows, where they can do both, which is conventional as well Islamic. And total Islamic asset under management, EUM, is valued at 222 billion ringgit as at June 2021. And from this fund management segment, the main product, as you can see from the slide, the unit trust fund, wholesale fund, PRS, ETF, and also REITs, private retirement scheme for PRS, and also real estate investment trust for REIT. If I can go to the next slide. Okay. The one that I have mentioned in terms of product and services is the common product and services or typical product under the capital market. But with the advent of technology, we see and SC has facilitated development of equity crowdfunding and also P2P financing platform. We issue ECF and also P2P framework back in 2016 and 2017 respectively, and you can see that the growth is really tremendous. If you look at the growth of ECF for 2020 as opposed to 2019, the increase of 457%, and P2P financing increased by 20%. And it also has benefited almost close to 3,000 MSMEs in 2020. And if we zoom into equity crowdfunding, where usually or typically for equity crowdfunding, the capital raising is for longer term for longer term financing requirements, as opposed to P2P financing, which mainly for working capital. So if you look at zooming into ECF, 57% of ECF issue fundraise for business expansion, as I mentioned, is for longer term perspective or requirements. And for P2P financing, 97% issuers fundraise for working capital. And from ECF and P2P platform, we have total of 21 ECF P2P platform, 10 ECF, 11 P2P, 1 offer Islamic finance services for ECF, and for P2P platform operators, 5 of them is actually offer Islamic finance services. So if you are looking for alternative fundraising platform, especially for MSMEs, so this is where I think we have provided a suite or range of product or services for to fundraise. If I can go to the next slide. Okay, so this is what I mentioned. We have facilitated what I've talked earlier in terms of the common product the capital market has. We have equity product, which mainly the listed market, we focusing mainly at the growth, late stage and matured, where you have lead market, east market, and so main market. And we also quite well established in bonds and also sukuk market. So this is mainly targeted the growth stage, late stage, and also matured market for financing needs. But as I mentioned, we also facilitated the financing for pre-commercialization, early stage, and also growth stage in the sense that we issue ECF and also P2P framework, and we can see the development of ECF and also P2P financing. So this is where typically MSMEs will go to ECF and also P2P financing other than angel investing and also VC for fundraising or financing needs or financing requirements. So this is what we have in terms of the range of product that we can offer from Islamic capital market perspective. If you go to, if I can go to the next slide. Okay, recently we launched Sharia Screening Assessment Toolkit for the unlisted MSMEs. Main objective is actually to provide guidance in screening Sharia status of MSMEs for the unlisted market. I don't want to talk a lot on this slide because we have videos that I want to show to you that will summarize during the launch. I think we have the video, so I want to show the video to you, and you can actually access the Sharia Screening Assessment Toolkit on our website, and it's actually to guide ECF platform operators, P2P financing platform operators, Sharia advisor, or any companies who feel that they want to assess whether their company is Sharia compliant or not, because this is specifically for the unlisted companies. So probably I'm going to end with the video presentation. So yeah.
The Malaysian capital market plays an important role in financing the nation's economy and growth. The Islamic capital market garners more than 60% of the total capital market. Micro, small and medium enterprises, MSMEs, contribute more than 1/3 to the local gross domestic product. Recognizing this potential, the SC has facilitated the development of equity crowdfunding and peer-to-peer financing frameworks, which have seen progressive growth. In 2020, ECF fundraising grew by 457% to almost 128 million ringgit and has so far benefited 150 MSMEs, while P2P financing registered a 20% growth of 503 million ringgit in the same year, benefiting 2,801 MSMEs. To further enhance the ecosystem for Sharia-compliant fundraising activities, the SC is introducing the Sharia Screening Assessment Toolkit for unlisted MSMEs. It aims to provide guidance in screening the Sharia status of MSMEs, broadening Sharia-compliant offerings, and promotes end-to-end Sharia-compliant businesses. The toolkit includes a series of assessment questions based on the Sharia screening methodology for MSMEs, as endorsed by the SC's Sharia Advisory Council. This toolkit will benefit various stakeholders, and this initiative is part of the SC's efforts to promote the development of MSMEs in the halal economy through the Islamic capital market.
Yeah, that's all from me. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for that presentation, Ritsam. Ladies and gentlemen, next up, we have two of our Sharia compliant registered market operators that offer digital funding solutions for Malaysian micro and small and medium enterprises. They will each be speaking about the digital funding options that are available for halal businesses. And first off, I'd like to introduce Wan Dazrik, who is Chief Executive Officer for Ethis Malaysia, to talk to you about equity crowdfunding. Dazrik, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you, Navina, and Bismillahirrahmanirrahim, and thank you for the organizers, HDC and Capital Markets Malaysia, for having me this morning and along other panelists as well. As Navina mentioned, I'll spend a bit of a time to share a bit, following from what Encik Rizam have mentioned, specifically with regards to equity crowdfunding. Before I start, can I maybe share a bit of a video as well with regards to ethics and specifically on Islamic finance? Yeah, carry on. Okay, thank you so much for that. That kind of like encapsulates what Etis does. I'll share a bit of a slide for everyone's benefit. Yeah, I hope you can see my slides now. Yeah, allow me to share a bit of what we do in the equity crowdfunding space for the next 10 minutes. And I think after this, my colleague from the P2P space would share his, and afterwards you'll see one of our successful issuer from Delivery Ghost Kitchen to share their experience on how they have successfully fundraised through platforms such as equity crowdfunding. I'll start off with this. I think Tuan Haji Adli earlier mentioned about the potential of halal industries, and to some extent, Encik Rizam also have mentioned about the space or the potential of the alternative financing, specifically in the crowdfunding space, whether it's ECF or P2P. But to set the context, I'll backtrack a bit with regards to the Islamic market broadly. I guess in 2016, the Islamic digital market contributed about 18% of the Malaysian GDP for one. What Tuan Haji Adli mentioned, rightfully mentioned, in halal industry for 2025, we expected of export value of RM56 billion. Right, I guess as we speak, Muslim around the world spend about USD 2 trillion on food, pharmaceutical, lifestyle, travel, etc., etc. And coming back to Malaysian context, there's about 45 Islamic digital economy businesses or businesses that are compliant to what we call IDE, Islamic Digital Economy, ranging from fintech like us, property, tech, and stuff like that. So you see, there's a lot of potential to grow the Islamic space. For Ethis specifically, aside from all those statistics, potential and stuff like that, we have a mission to what we call circulate good, right? Our mission is actually to circulate capital in the real economy. And coming back to what Encik Rizham mentioned, right, for MSMEs, for example, who can't or find it difficult to find funding to scale through conventional banking because they don't have collaterals and stuff like that, fintech companies like us or the P2P players are aiming to bridge that gap. And that's what our mission is. When we speak about circulate of capital in the real economy, it's really about that, to serve the unbankables, for example. Our vision is pretty much to uplift humanity through fintech. So that's broadly about what Ethis does. A slight different, I guess, angle to what we do is actually when we speak about Islamic principle, Islamic finance, it's always the underlying factor of being equitable and fair. The concept of adil, justice, the concept of ihsan, and being excellence. I think this is what we try to do or propagate with regards to our dealings. In this case, the equity crowdfunding, as Encik Risa mentioned just now, there's 10 equity crowdfunding operators in Malaysia, only us one being the Sharia compliant, and a lot of that has to do with our positioning of being equitable and fair for the investors and also the business owners, and that's why we subscribe to the concept of Islamic finance. I wouldn't go on much on this one, but just a bit of background in terms of credential and credibilities and stuff like that. Encik Riza mentioned the crowdfunding framework in Malaysia started around 2016 and 2017. Ethis as a group actually have started in 2014, but a lot of our traction actually started in Indonesia. We only got our license to do, alhamdulillah, to do ECF in Malaysia around late 2019, early 2020. So in Malaysia, we are relatively new in this space, but we're hopeful to provide these offerings to the market, or rather the Sharia offerings to the market when it comes to crowdfunding or fundraising. And we believe, with what Encik Riza mentioned with regards to traction, opportunity to grow and stuff like that. And we believe that investment crowdfunding is one of the way to drive the Islamic capital market, so to speak. I think some of you might have read, the Sharia compliant assets, worth around USD 3.8 trillion as we speak. I think Cik Rizam also mentioned about sukuk. The potential there is a lot, and based on a recent research also have been done, 66% of consumers are willing to pay more for ethical products. So you see all of this convergence between Islamic principle and sustainable development goals are quite pertinent. I could also share, I think MDEC, if I'm not mistaken, also have forecasted the digital economy would contribute around 18 to 21% of GDP of Malaysia by next year, 2022. So you see the growth of Islamic economy is also be part of that, and globally it's around 3 trillion US dollars. So we see, whether it's through the capital markets, whether it's through tradings, consumerism and stuff like that, there's a lot of vast opportunity when we speak about Islamic markets, broadly speaking. I wouldn't join on this slide, but I think mine is a bit more outdated than Encik Rizam. As Encik Rizam mentioned, the ECF space specifically is growing in spite of we going to pandemic and the 18 months of a lockdown. The P2P and ECF financing actually have gained traction. I'll just share this view. I think this is a SC report in 2020, of which, if you see everything else, kind of have a diminished growth, so to speak. But in the ECF and P2P space, it has increased over 43% from 2019 to 2020. And I think these trajectories have grown. I don't have the latest stat, but alhamdulillah, we see a continuous growth from what Encik Rizam shared earlier. from 2020 onwards as well. So this space has become a bit more, I wouldn't say mainstream, but a bit more volume when it comes to alternative financing. For ethics, I've mentioned earlier, we are one and only the fully Sharia compliant to perform or rather to do ECF under the recognized market operators in SCs. And aside from SC also, aside from SC and Islamic capital markets, we are also guided by IOFI standards and also, I guess, external body like ISRA Consultings and stuff like that, just to make sure that we cross-check our practices with everything that's happening globally as far as Sharia standards are concerned. And this is something that perhaps we wanted to do more in Malaysia. This is something that we have done quite well in Indonesia. We've crowdfunded about 1,800 investment from 47 different countries. Sorry, just a bit of context. In Indonesia, we actually have a P2P license, and that was given to an equivalent to SC there, OJK. Who have given P2P license in Indonesia. And this is something we wanted to emulate in Malaysia, but it's a bit of a trying times at the moment with COVID and stuff like that. But the investments we see with regards to Islamic, social finance, for example, when we speak about wakaf and stuff like that, this is something fintech company or crowdfunding company can also bridge that gap to bring value to the society. So in Indonesia, for example, we have actually able to raise fund about $13 million USDs and bring housing to 38,000 people in the citizens of Indonesia. This is something that we're still wanting to do and progress along for Malaysia for the greater, I guess, benefit of the greater society. If you guys are asking, what kind of verticals that we are looking at, or what kind of industries that crowdfunding platform like Ethis, or specifically Ethis, are looking at when we do fundraising for entities. I've spoken a bit about social housing, property. That's one. Agriculture is actually one of the key ones as well, where farmers, for example, when we speak about sustainability, farmers, productivity, improving efficiencies of farmers, whereby they try to, use technologies, IoTs and stuff like that. That's one of the key verticals that we're looking at as part of our portfolio. Naturally, MSME, SME, and startups are gravitating to crowdfunding. And in the case of ECF, I think what Cik Riza mentioned with regards to expansion, they are looking crowdfunding as a means of scaling up, or alternative financing to start scaling up. Halal and secular economy. This is probably a bit more specific to us because we are also a Sharia compliant, and we fully understood the impact of halal and secular economy. In fact, because we started a bit later in the crowdfunding space in Malaysia, we started much earlier in other places in the world. A lot of our pool of investors are actually resides outside of Malaysia, namely in the Middle East, UK, Europe, etc., etc. So they have more appetite, to be honest, to invest beyond the monetary returns, what we call the amal jariyah or the circulate good. So they have this lens of, okay, if I invest in the MSME, aside from the monetary return, what impact do my money would actually brings to the society, environment, etc., etc. So if you see on our platform, a lot of the campaigns that we are doing have an element of impact, whether it's about environment, community, and things like that. I wouldn't drain on much on this one. I think this is just for benefit of you out there, and you could actually do a bit of a research, what kind of investors typically we deal with when it comes to equity crowdfunding, right? Retail investors are the small ones. They would actually invest between 1,000 to 5,000 ringgit Malaysia, so to speak. Angel investors, you can actually get accredited as angel investors under the Malaysian Business Angel Network. They will actually receive certain incentives when they actually invest, typically they would invest in 6 digits to millions. And hence why that incentives are there, I suppose, to drive more investments. When you speak about accredited and sophisticated, usually the VCs and PEs and to some extent institutional banking. I think if you reflect back to what Encik Rizham shared with regards to the diagram, you can see where where are the VCs and PEs are as opposed of the crowd, mostly the retails and the angel investors at. Broadly speaking, very quickly, when we speak about equity, you can almost treat it like, to some extent, how we do shares, for example, right? Entrepreneurs or business usually give a slice of their company's stake, equity, for the cash that investors would actually provide. And I think that's the differentiator a bit when it comes of crowdfunding or equity crowdfunding. It's slightly long term, as what Encik Rizham mentioned, because this is most of the time investors are looking to invest either on sustainable income over a prolonged period of time, or potential of your business. Inshallah, if you're the MSME or the startups can become unicorn in 3 to 5 years or time, the investors would actually get higher returns on that front. I've come towards the end of my presentation, but just to share a bit as the current Security Commission guidelines. And this is for equity crowdfunding. If you are a new company, startups, you must register as Sendirian Berhad or LLP. But if you are new and you do not have any audited accounts, etc., you can only raise up to $500,000 ringgit. But in the case, if you're already most slightly matured, the small, medium enterprises with the registration of Sendirian Berhad or LLP with audited accounts, technically you can raise up to 10 million ringgit. And this is probably for your business expansions and stuff like that. There are instances whereby SMEs use crowdfunding to get higher valuation. It's an pre-IPO strategy. So that you get higher valuation before they go to IPOs and stuff like that. But typically for crowdfunding, there's a lot more the micro, the smaller startups and stuff like that who are looking to get either working capital and also business expansion through crowdfunding. Okay, I wouldn't drain on these slides. This is just a process flow in terms of how we do. If you're a business owner, you'll get in touch with us. We do a bit of a due diligence. Due diligence has two parts for ethics. One is actually the compliance. Secondly, from an investor's lens, and that investor's lens also including Sharia, set of rules. I think Encik Rizham have mentioned, the things about riba-free, garar, and stuff like that. That also has been is part of the due diligence. After which, we'll start to begin to work on the fundraising strategy on the platform. And there will be a post-campaign activities once a successful raise through the platform. And that's where there's more commercial arrangement between investors, issuers, to make sure the risk and reward side of investments are well taken care of and covered. Yeah, I've spoken about this a bit. When investors want to invest, typically they're looking for growth potential or revenue stream. Obviously, commercial arrangements around annual dividends has to be attractive, etc., etc. But what we see through this platform, and this is coming back to the Islamic finance principle and stuff like that, and I've spoken a bit, some of our investors who resides abroad or who have been with us slightly longer, they actually look into the social impact benefits, beyond monetary returns, what are the social impact benefits? And I think this is quite interesting. I think there's a commonalities between Islamic finance and these concepts of sustainable development goals. And while we don't say it clearly, but if you sophisticated enough, you see there's baseline communities that both actually propagate for. Yeah, so I'll stop at that, and I would actually pass back to Navina. And if you want to know more about Ethis, what kind of projects are there and stuff like that, you can go to our website. It's actually here, ethis.co, and obviously, if you want to see more about, what kind of projects out there, there's a specific ones I've spoken earlier about farming. There's more around social enterprises. There's one inheritance or will writing through digitalization and stuff like that. So you see a variety of platforms or businesses that typically have social or environmental impact that we actually propagate. So I'll leave that to that, and thank you so much. I'll pass back to Navina. Thank you.
Thanks very much for that, Dasrik. We do have one question for you. So if you could give a quick answer to this question, because I'm also mindful of time. The question is for Ethis, for your agri vertical, if the business is in waste management but deals with pig waste or human waste, will that remain as halal?
Yeah, there's some so when we do the due diligence process, there's certain criteria that we adopt as a threshold. So it's never a case of absolute, but typically it's always a case of the mix, for example. So there's a certain percentage that we adopt. I have to emphasize those global standards are usually stricter, and we actually do subscribe to the global standard of IOF, for example. Just because a lot of our investors base are also global, but that does not stop us to do this or explore these dealings. Usually those kind of technicalities and stuff like that, when we do screening, we'll advise or we'll come back to the specific terms and guidelines. Yeah, but
okay.
Yeah. Hope that answers the question. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks, Dasrik. Thank you for your presentation. Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any questions for Dasrik, as he said, you can visit the Ethis Malaysia website. Next up, so you've heard about equity crowdfunding, and now to talk about peer-to-peer financing, I'd like to introduce Matthew Fernandez, who is Chief Operating Officer for Microleap. Matthew, the floor is yours.
Good morning, everyone. Just a quick one, I guess, to also add on to what one has mentioned earlier. We are definitely looking forward and happy to be part of HTC and Securities Commission CMM's talk for today. Let me just share my screen. So, done. Can everyone see my screen?
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. All right, so morning, everyone. Just quick introduction, as this is will be my introduction to P2P financing to MSMEs, presented by Microleap and with Halal Development Corporation and Capital Markets Malaysia. Just introduce the team. I'll be the main speaker for today, as well as I've got my CMO on the comments and on Facebook Live and everything in between. So he's there to support, as well as we have an issuer today, one of our top issuers actually, for Islamic invoice financing or Sharia compliant invoice financing, PO financing, that they've been with us now for 5 notes in, going to be more. And these are the kind of long-term partnerships and issuers that we're looking to help alongside our microfinance option. So let me start on that as well. So what is Microleap? So Microleap is a Sharia compliant and conventional P2P financing platform regulated by Securities Commission Malaysia. We're basically a matching platform for the investors, which is any one of us looking to make an impact in from the whole spectrum, the whole MSME spectrum. And the issuer is the MSME that we're talking about. We have the microfinancing, which is 1,000 to 50,000, and of course the tenor up to 36 months, and Microleap Plus, which we've just launched, which has gone up to actually $1 million with Money Match. That's our new partnership that we have with them, because we're also looking to help their ecosystem as well. And that was launched earlier this year in June 2021. Let's also address what is the elephant in the room, which is the 80 billion MSME funding gap in Malaysia. The lack of access. The main issue, especially even during these COVID times, of course, works the same as one is mentioned earlier. It's the same for all of us. We have to do our duty, but the bank's criteria sometimes can be a little bit too stringent, and I can explain a little bit further. The outreach to rural areas also, of course, is very difficult because when you do a branch model, that's not something that is actually profitable for the bank. So they will look at $1 million loans and above. So that's the only way as point number 2 of the cost per revenue is it will make sense, because otherwise, these are the small loans, they will never look at it. I mean, nothing below the $1 million mark on normal scale. And Microleap aims to, because the main thing that we have is our low customer acquisition costs. We are fully focused on technology, application, KYC, payments, drawdown, everything is done online. Later, I will also explain a little bit on how we differentiate from the normal offerings out there. We target the underserved. Similarly, as also mentioned, we were part of the UNCDF, a pioneer batch of the Financial Innovation Lab. And they selected us because we actually do this. We actually put our money where our mouth is, kind of thing, and we put our financial inclusion as our priority. We provide microinsurance for no extra cost. We also provide basic debt management accounting training, which I'll also touch on a little bit later. But also the other thing is we have less budget constraints. Because of our reliance on tech, we can reach and scale up quickly to both East and West Malaysia. And another thing to point out is Malaysia is ripe for digital financial services. The smartphone penetration is at 70% in 2018. Internet was at 87.4%. And of course, I'm sure the latest statistics will only show that it's gone higher. So our main differentiation, as already mentioned earlier, we are the first in Malaysia to offer Sharia compliant and conventional financing on one platform. We provide personal accident insurance, and even looking to expand our PA insurance that we provide to all our key persons of our issuers. For example, say the food truck driver that we have on our platform. Contoh ada accident, let's just say he broke his arm, even though that is covered, that partial disability will cover the entire financing. So, and he doesn't have to pay 1 cent. Microleap is actually paying that. This is exclusive for our microfinancing option. And after that, the principal will be paid back from our insurance partner to our trustees. Our trustees will pay back to all our investors. And as also mentioned earlier, we provide basic debt management accounting training in both Bahasa Malaysia and English. So, that is at no extra cost again. The main thing is one of our UNCDF partners. We provided this as an extra value add, make sure that they pass the modules, and then, at least you get a basic sense of bookkeeping, basic debt management, what's P2P, etc. And then only you get your financing. So it's a nice carrot and stick situation, but it really works because we've converted quite a number of buku actual Excel. And group financing also, we digitized the Grameen model of group lending. So that is something that also differentiates us, because we do allow a group of 5 micro womanpreneurs, entrepreneurs, and if they need, but it will have to be within the same area. Cannot be one Sarawak, one Sabah, one Kelantan. It doesn't work that way. It has to. It's a peer support, peer pressure system, and that's something that also sets us apart. It's something that we've always prided ourselves to digitize. Next is basically the real people, real impact. P2P investors, as also mentioned from the start from Puan Najee, we have to look at it from all angles. That means the ones who are looking for the Sharia compliant high returns, but also those non-Muslims who are looking to actually make community impact and ethical investments. The main thing that we found out from our P2P investors is the transparency. There are no hidden fees. What you see on our website is what you get. There's no, there's a lot of any and all associated costs Microleap has absorbed. So whether you raise conventional or raise Islamic, it's at the same cost. And for the investor, you get the same returns. There's no, that actually is a huge motivation for both our issuers, MSMEs that want to raise on our platform, but also for the investors, because they want to know the full transparency. They want to know who they're investing in. We personalized it as much as possible with the proper Q&A, and for the Microleap Plus options, we actually give the the fact sheet, so that you get to know a bit more detail, number crunching, etc. So that's where both Ali and Lee are really happy to be part of our platform. But I think the main person I want to focus on is, of course, our favorite Makcik Kia. But this is a real life example. She was my issuer from Johor Bahru, my hometown, and I used to cycle to her shop when I was a kid. So, I mean, it's a family business well over 30 years, but because the bank, as mentioned earlier, has that 3-year requirement, they were only SSM registered for 2.5 years before they came to our platform, but we could see they pivoted online. And then, and very obvious, they could maintain their, what do you call it, the income. The income was sustained not just by the brick and mortar, but by the click, in the sense of Food Panda, Grab, etc. So we knew that they were doing quite well, and we decided, yeah, let's give this a go. Start to finish, the financing took all of 2 weeks. They were so happy, and they not only managed to upgrade their shop, it's actually on our blog, but on a bit more on this, but more importantly, after upgrading their shop, they also boosted their online presence, and they're still doing quite well throughout this pandemic. So that is something which, again, they were a bit surprised, and actually there'll be a video of this that will touch on this as well. But the main thing is, like, you know, at least we have that option now. We have that option for all the people that want to raise Islamic. And, you know, yes, the banks may have been a bit tough, but at least we do look at your profitability and your ability to pivot. That kind of things actually really attractive to us. So I just start a small video.
So funds are raised by platform on the ground. So instead of getting financing, right, actually getting financing or maybe so we allow child financing. So for example, your Makcik as a ringgit, you can raise those funds from platform.
Matthew, I think it's quite a weak connection at the moment, so I think we'll try to share the link, the video link on our end.
Okay.
And if you can't, then we will share the video link with all the participants.
Okay, that would be good. Right, so I'll continue on then, if that's the case. You can't at all, is it?
It's very choppy at the moment. Yeah.
Okay, it's okay. I'll carry on. So yeah, coming back to the financing landscape, basically, Microleap, we are the best in class for a few separate things. One, we're fully online, and of course, the branch model. This is where this will always be an issue, because at least for us, between our partners on the ground and what do you call that, our ability to just do our betting online, that is one thing that will set us apart against the banks and money lenders and MFIs, microfinance institutions. We do provide business financing, so anything that is business financing related, whether it's working capital or business expansion or business improvement needs, as long as it's not personal financing, because that's strictly not allowed from Securities Commission. We're obviously less stringent, but at the same token, given the pandemic, we do have to be a bit stricter because we have to be jaga hati the issuers, which is the MSMEs that need financing, but also the investors, because obviously as Rizwan has mentioned from the start, we also have to take care of our investors' needs as well. And time to get funds, the moment we're at 2 weeks on average from the day you're hosted to the day you get funded. So that's pretty decent. Definitely faster than most banks, and definitely for those who are looking for Islamic invoice financing or PO financing, this is where our main advantage is. Our rates are basically the same as the bank for invoice and PO financing as well. Average rates are anywhere between 10 to 15%, but on what do you call that? On the Islamic invoice financing, etc., could be anywhere between 12 to 18 PA, so 1 to 1.5 per month. P2P financing traction, we are already at over 6 million dispersed, and of which 5.9 is Sharia compliant. So very clearly that Microleap has been on this upward trajectory the minute we went live with our first Sharia compliant note, which was this our confectionery in April of about 2 years ago. So that can really show our traction has really just come very strong month to month. These are the types of businesses we funded, 104 notes. Average financing amount is now at 58,000. Average tenor has reduced to 26 months because, as you know, most of our microfinancing was at 36 months tenor. I think also because we had to be a bit stricter. I think credit risk is basically the main thing, So the default rate was still at 0 because we are also looking at restructuring, and we call the conversation as early as possible. That's where we differentiate ourselves as well, because our default rate is at 0 because we call it at 30 days. So by day 14 already, I'm looking at what can you do? Is there any needs for restructuring, etc., deferred payment plan, etc. And that's why I think that's the key of where we're maintaining at the moment. But also, this is, I'm sure, is going to be a challenge moving forward. We are already looking at how we're going to maintain our 0 to 3 target for the foreseeable future. So Microleap Islamic, just to touch on this, the Sharia pronouncement based on commodity muraba'ah arrangement. So the industry must be Sharia compliant. Basically, also there's, as pointed out earlier, there's a rule book and also the SC guidelines and the toolkit. That's what I was looking for. So the toolkit is also available. So between the toolkit as well as coming to ourselves, we will find out for you whether you fit your industry is Sharia compliant or not. We have our FAQs on our site, but more importantly, we also have our Sharia advisor, approved Sharia advisor from Securities Sharia Advisory Council. So they will always, if there's any gray areas, they will tell us whether it's a yes or no. No brokerage fees, as mentioned. Any and all associated costs with the Islamic fundraising, Sharia compliant fundraising or Sharia compliant investment has been absorbed by us. So the Sharia fee, wakala fees, etc., right up to the commodity brokerage fees are all absorbed by us. That's one of our value adds. Anyone can raise, as always mentioned from the earlier speakers. Basically, at the ethical and sustainability and Islamic principles go hand in hand, as my CEO TD also always mentions on his talks. So it's that's something which, I think that is a common feedback we get also from both Muslim and non-Muslim investors. They love the fact that it's transparent. They love the fact that we are really helping not just the our B40, M40, but we're really having a lot of proper social financing projects on our platform. Also, late penalty fees are given to charity under Garama. And let's also go to just the different types of offerings that we have. So as mentioned earlier, when we started, it was microfinancing, and now we've slowly but surely grown from M to SME. So now we cover the full spectrum of MSMEs. So microfinancing, as mentioned, average rates 12 to 15, tenor 6 to 36. And we do need a guarantor. So even the Machikia, she is her own guarantor. if she wasn't strong enough, because after doing our credit checks, we will probably need a secondary one. But it's the personal, the business owner, or the within the business family, etc. But you don't need to have like an external credit guarantor per se, But of course, certain invoice financing notes and all that, maybe corporate guarantor together with the personal is always better to make it more secure. But also touching on invoice financing, the average rate, as mentioned, is 1 to 1.5% per month. So it's between 12 to should be 12 to 18. But anyway, tenors 1 to 6. Mainly the SME segment. I'll touch a bit on the balloon structure shortly. But basically, and bullet is a bit more straightforward. Basically, like in car dealer, basically at the end of the 4 months, you pay one shot. But let me come back to the invoice and guarantor for invoice financing. Basically, we will also make sure that we double check the invoice. As again, we've got to take care of the investors. We have to make sure that when the monies come in to a secondary current account that we control, co-control together with the issuer, they will make sure that the money comes in. We cite the money, we pay back to our trustees pay back to investors. So there's that escrow account kind of feature that we have, which is it's called notification invoice financing. And that is something, it's added security. Car dealer financing, the car is collateral. So it's actually Islamic collateralized car dealer financing. So that's anywhere between 50 to 300,000. We have a couple of partners that we're working with, and it will be going through our partners, because our partners will also do the initial credit checks. The vehicle again is collateral. So that's very added security there. Grant financing, likewise, 20 to 300,000. 1 to 1.5% per month, 12 to 15 PA, depending on your credit evaluation. Tenor to 3 to 6 months. Of course, again, is also mainly to the SME segment, but those who are under, say, SME Corp grant, Matrade grant, these are the kind of people we are looking to help on your bridge financing needs. But of course, the grant provided has to be paid back to that secondary current account again, because we need that extra security just in case you take your financing from Microlip, you also take the financing from the grant, and then you chow. So again, we have to take care of the investors. So there's no, we have to have that added level of security on top of the guarantor. Right. So case study, as mentioned earlier, there'll be a proper clinic on with our issuer, and we will be there to support. But main thing to clearly point this out, this is another great example of a pivot. During the COVID-19 pandemic, they saw this fantastic opportunity in the PPE space. They went for it and have done really well. The fact sheet is also there on our website if you head over to our microasia.com and under funding list. And you can see clearly how well they've done. Over 15 million, if I'm not mistaken, for 2020. And they basically have a few more POs that we will be looking to help co-finance. Again, we're not financing 100%, we're financing at a certain percentage, anywhere between 70 to 80, but depending on the company. And again, they're great, they're fantastic issuers. Same thing as already mentioned, we have a secondary current account together with them. We cite the money, we will pay back our investors as soon as we cite the money. And of course, the balance is for them. And because there's multiple deals, we keep the current account going. AP Digital, another thing to point out is the payment structure. So the payment structure at 350,000, we bagi macam ni, so it's a bit easier on the balance sheet. We do a profit rate up to the final month, whether it's month 3, month 4, month 5, month 6. And the final month will be the principal plus profit. So it's much easier for them. They definitely would have gotten the money by then, and all this just falls into place. And then the rebate also on the commodity murabaha is also taken care of by this seamless structure. So partnerships, quite exciting to announce. We just have a very few key important partnerships on our platform. MAA is one of our key corporate and equity partner as well. They've allocated 10 million to co-fund 30% of each node. We have the SME Corp who will be dispersing 10 million of Islamic funds to finance the SME Corp members under the DFI, Digital Financial Initiative. This is to help as a COVID relief initiative actually. MTDC, we've done two prong. One, we are part of the MTDC Pitch Mondays and they are a co-investor in our jointly approved Islamic investment notes for tech companies and agri-tech companies, etc. They also channeled 5 million to help their tech ecosystem under the COVID relief initiative last year and this year. And BEM Pembangunan, they are also same thing. They have 5 mil initial disbursement for agri-tech farming, as well as 1 million to co-fund 30% of Islamic investment notes on our platform under the Islamic investment mandate. MySIF, which is looking to invest in every note as well, up to 20%. 1 to 4 basically is up to 20%. All right, so just a quick overview of where we were and where we are. We were part, as I mentioned, initially with the Alpha FinTech Startups under 1337, as well as top 18 UNCDF Financial Innovation B40 Challenge. We were part of that pioneer batch, proud to say that. Also recently, we won the unicorn pitches and represented Malaysia in the APEC finals for Startup Network, Unicorn Startup Battles. We also were part of Cradle Coach and Grow program, won the FinTech Industry Recognition Award, but also the Startup of the Year nominee, which I thought was great. BFM, we were lucky to be part of that. That was a fun interview. You can check that out on their podcast. And of course, yeah, they already mentioned on MTDC and MAA. So who can apply? So only Malaysians registered at least 6 months and above can apply. So props, enterprise, partnerships, LLPs, private limited companies, unlisted public companies. Please note again, must reiterate, there's no personal financing allowed. So those that want to apply for their wedding or whatever birthdays, sorry, we have to reject you. Document checklist. This one is the standard checklist. If you need any further clarifications or more detailed checklist for grant or invoice financing, please come back to us on either our website or through our emails or socials. So yeah, just to check, it's just a simple, straightforward. The applicant can also be the guarantor. The key person of the business is also the guarantor. Then you can just click and move forward. Business bank statements, minimum 3 months, could be 6 months depending, but minimum 3. Financial statements should be 3 years from the incorporation, or at least, say for example, you've been in existence for 14 months, then at least for that 1 year. And we will also provide the basic, not just the basic debt management accounting training, tapi an Excel template dalam Bahasa Malaysia and English, where you can just download and fill up. It's quite easy. And we're also there to help you along the way. And there's also a helpful BM and English video on our socials, YouTube, as well as on our website on how to fill it up. So on top of the basic debt management and accounting training. Business premise pictures, of course, is very important. You can't be having a business without any signboard and any business thing. Plus, we'll also do our verifications as well. Then the business owner profile, which actually you can see AP Digital from earlier.
Jadi, apa yang perlu Anda lakukan? Pertama, sila baca dan fahami.
I think, Matthew, I think we will share the video as well on the link, because it's also very choppy.
Yeah,
right?
okay. I'm not sure what, I think it could be the Canva one, but it's okay. We've already provided the videos to SCCMM, and they will also give it to all our participants. So please check it out. It's also on our website and our socials. So, okay.
Thank you.
Yeah, so how long?
Thank you.
Yeah, no worries.
Yeah, you have how many more slides? Sorry?
About we're done. This is the last
Okay,
slide.
sure. All right, thanks. We'll share the videos then.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Exactly. Okay, so how long does it take to raise funds? Similarly, under SC typical this one fundraise the session, you will have fundraise period. It will be 30 days. But as mentioned, we do, and also just to add, it's also in our FAQs, we do have the sole discretion to add 15 days if and when we see that you're close to completion, close to 100%. but usually we take about 14 days to raise start to finish. Profit rate, issuer costs, as mentioned earlier, average rates between 12 to 15 on overall scale. The one-off fees just to touch on that, the principal profit rate is done on a monthly basis. We'll start on month one of the drawdown. Repayments may be done by direct debit, FPS, etc., into our trustees account. One-off issuer fees are based on tenor. So depending on if it's microfinancing, it's a one-off 8% fee at 50K and below for up to 36 months. So on a 36-month tenor, that works out to be 2.67% a year because, again, there's no hidden fees or additional costs. Likewise, for the 3-6-month tenor, the rates are adjusted accordingly. It's all one-off fees, so there's no extra cost on top of that. Fee disbursement structure, as mentioned, the fees will be deducted before disbursement of your funds. And that's our team. Just a quick intro. Our founder CEO, my partner Tunku Dani, is ex-evil banker, as he likes to call himself, although he's actually a nice guy, except on the football field. Standard Chartered and BNP Paribas, very long distinguished career there. Co-founders, actually the ex-CEO of Amnak Malaysia, but he also current CEO of Group IMS Solution. Myself, I've been involved in management and also FMCG, banking FMCG before this. CTO is Ame, our partner as well. He's provided e-solutions for the likes of Kazana, MDEC, and BSB. Our Chief Marketing Officer, experienced marketer in both, and has long experience in Media Prima and TV7, etc. And our advisor, Tunku Tan Sri Imran, very knowledgeable and a fantastic advisor and partner to my colleague as well. And just a quick thank you. Please check out our socials, and we are only for this particular program, we are giving HTC a special microfinancing promo. So our one-off fees from 8% will give some discount. And that's it.
Thank you. Thanks very much, Matt, for that presentation. It's very comprehensive. And ladies and gentlemen, Matt's colleague Marzuki has also provided a lot of links in the chat box, so please do check that out. So you've now heard from the ECF and P2P platform operators. The next segment is a couple of short case studies, and these are from business owners who have benefited from these funding options. So I'd like to first introduce Dr. Ahmad Ramzi Muhammad Zubair, founder and Chief Executive Officer of Delivery Ghost Kitchen. Dr. Ramzi, over to you.
Okay, thank you, Navina. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh, and very good morning to everybody. Thank you, HDC. Thank you, Capital Markets Malaysia, for organizing this forum today. My presentation today will be delivered in 3 languages, English, Arabic, and Bahasa Melayu Terengganu. Tak boleh stres sangat. Takut boring lama tadi kan. Okay, so what is DGK? Thank you for inviting me today. We are one of the issuers with ATIS crowdfunding. Thank you, ATIS. So DGK, Delivery Ghost Kitchen, is the first ghost kitchen concept in Malaysia, founded in July 2020. And we started operations in November the same year, where we help other brands to join operations, do marketing, and deliver food right to the customers through the establishment of a centralized kitchen, which we invested in. So that's DGK. I'm also the founder of Kilini Kopitiam Malaysia. So after the pandemic last year, we closed all our outlets, 15 outlets throughout Malaysia, and just concentrate on doing this ghost kitchen and just do delivery. And at the same time, we help other brands as well, who suffered as well from the pandemic. So we just cook, train our staff, and do marketing and deliver using service providers such as Grab and Foodpanda. So why crowdfunding? We receive I mean, we are one of the issuers of crowdfunding from ATIS Malaysia. Why we chose crowdfunding? Because number one, it gives access to capital in a fast, easy and efficient way. No need to go to the office. Everything is online, you know. So if you talk about crowdfunding as an alternative financial solution versus traditional fundraising, so it's very convenient. You just do your pitch deck, just do a video, and then prepare yourself for pitching, and that's it. So it gives an access to capital in a fast and easy way. And then with crowdfunding also is you get the valuable form of marketing, and at the same time media exposure when you pitch your project or your business to the online platform. So everything is online. You just go to their platform, and then they will schedule for pitching, and then straight from there you get some sort of exposure, especially to the investors all over the world. Okay, and through crowdfunding also we found that it's kind of crowdsourced brainstorming, you know, so you can refine your idea. It's some kind of some sort of market validation, and investors can also become your most loyal customers, early adopters and advocates, because when they love your idea, and then they get to track your progress, this may help you to promote your brand through their networks. Okay, and then the last one, I would say that sometimes you know, crazy ideas or new disruptive technology ideas, digital businesses, everything. So sometimes these kind of ideas are not that appealing to conventional investors. So by using crowdfunding as well as P2P, just like what Matthew mentioned just now, it can be done. You can get financing, you can raise your fund through these alternative financial funding solutions. And then our experience with ATIS, why we chose ATIS actually. So ATIS, because we were looking for an Islamic crowdfunding platform. So ATIS is an Islamic platform, crowdfunding platform in Malaysia. Yes, a global network, as Dazrik mentioned just now. Their investor database is all over the world, in UK, Europe, Middle East, not only in Southeast Asia, not only in Malaysia. And then ATIS got an experienced team. People like Dazrik, you know, Datuk Razif, Zad, everybody who can not only advise you on how to do your pitch deck, on how to do your business plan, everything, but also to advise you on your business as well. How to do marketing, you know, based on their experience. And I get all sorts of WhatsApp, you know, I mean, all sorts of information from them, you know, tips, advices, everything, almost every day. So it's good for us businessmen, because sometimes we don't have time to read books, to Google, you know, check Wikipedia, everything. So it's good. And then ATIS also support community-based initiatives. So at DGK, not only we are helping our business, but also other people's businesses. We are also helping other entrepreneurs who were almost dying, you know, through the pandemic. And inshallah, next month we'll be launching our new business model, where we're going to launch 300 DGKs all over Malaysia. So all these 300 are not, we are not investing in new outlets, new center kitchens, but these are the 300 entrepreneurs, independent brands that we should help, because they are closing shops. The cost of reopening their outlets after the PKP, after the MCO, is also tremendous. You know, you need a lot of money to reopen, recruit, do recruitment of staff. So what we do is we work with them, we help them, we rebrand them, train them, digitize their business, and then put them on our platform so people can just use our platform, DGK, inshallah. And not only to order food, but also to book tables. If you're going to lunch tomorrow, you can book the table at anywhere, Kuantan, Kuala Terengganu, Kedah, Johor, saying that you are going tomorrow at 12:30 with your girlfriend, for example. So your table will be reserved. And also you can order anywhere, anytime. Let's say you have parents in Kedah, you are in KL, so you want to order breakfast for your parents, you can do so. So our DGK in Alustar will deliver your food to your parents. So that's the concept. And talking about the process, it was very convenient for us. It's all online. All the forms are online. We just prepared our pitch deck, do a 5 minutes video explaining what's your business, explaining how you can really make money and help other people. And then you just prepare yourself for pitching. And it only took about 1 month for the campaign. We received more than we asked for. And the disbursement was about 1 month as well. So that's our experience with ETIS, with crowdfunding. And I would advise everybody out there to embark on these new alternative financial models, financial solutions, platforms. You need not to go to the conventional fundraising platforms anymore. So you can choose either crowdfunding or P2P. Thank you, ETIS. Thank you, Capital Markets Malaysia. Thank you, HDC. Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.
Thank you so much for that presentation, Dr. Ahmad Ramzi. Ladies and gentlemen, now to talk about their experience in funding through a P2P platform, I'd like to welcome Farina Hashim, who is Logistics Director for AP Digital Media, to present. Over to you, Farina.
Hi, good afternoon, everyone. Thank you, Navina. Thank you, everyone, for having me and to give me this platform to say a few words. Okay, so my name is Farina. I'm the Logistics Director of AP Digital Media. Previously, let me just give you a brief on AP Digital Media. So we are we have been operating for 18 years, okay, starting from digital branding, such as websites, branding identities, logo creations, ad banners, and so on and so forth. 4 years into the business, AP Digital evolved into events and outdoor marketing, and then branding our digital ideas to physical execution while helping our client to realize their potential market capture. To date, we as a team have had good run in our industry, helping good relationship with global recognized clientele such as Petronas, TaylorMade, Adidas, Golf, Cobra Puma Golf, Malakoff, Property Guru, and many more. Okay, and in 2020, like the rest of the world, we've been hit really hard by the global pandemic. Events and road shows put on hold, and we have to pivot to something else to sustain our business. So PPE, personal protective equipment, was a window of opportunity for us. So we decided as a team to go on and venture into this business, and nitrile glove was embarked as the focus item, being the pandemic newbie in the golf, in the glove supply market. We started to build our portfolio of deliveries to gain customer confidence. Our supply chain was kicked off using internal funds, and we managed to supply about 20 or so containers, mainly to the US. And this was at the last 6 months of 2020. So yeah, moving on to this year, to 2021, forecasting a drop in demand in the US due to their new administration planning, and to build more glove factories and self-sufficient internally. Our management team started looking into different focus markets, and to expand our product range, hence the PPE. This would be the first time in 18 years that we would need capital injection to expand our business. We never need to before, but because of the pandemic, so everything was stuck. So we tried using traditional methods, approaching banks to seek fundings. And the biggest problem when we approached the banks for bank application was like, we never had, and we never taken any bank facilities. So so that means like we do not have credit history. So that was working against us. It was our disadvantage. So we got rejected, and then that's when we approached Microleap. And it was led by Tengku Danny and Matt, and you have seen him earlier. They were very accommodating right from the start. We approached them for project funding instead of invoice financing, which allowed us to kickstart orders and secure stocks to be shipped out. So the many reasons why we went with Microleap was because the approval speed was really fast. They were really, really fast. It took about 2 to 5 days for approval. And then, well, basically, they were preparing our risk assessment through our company assessment, director's assessment. They did our background checks, checking on our customer background and validity of our purchase orders. And then we also they also did our checking on our past track records of deliveries. So they did that in really fast. It took them, normally would take about 3 to 6 months if you go to conventional financing from the banks. But with Microleap, it took them less, probably around between 2 to 5 days for approval. Okay, and then from the time of funding to disbursement was also very fast. So in total, it took about 2 weeks or so. So that was our first note. So that was our initial, our first run, our first note. So it was, it didn't take long. And then when we move on to our second, third, now we are already on our fourth, hoping to go more. And we have, the disbursement took really fast after that. It was only the first one that took 2 weeks or so. But after that, it was really, really fast. Okay, and the application was really easy as well. So as long as you have all the documents that you need, okay, based on the checklist, which is clear and precise, you do not have to worry, because it was easy to follow. Okay, you just submit because everything was online. Submit application from online to the portal, and then you submit supporting documents, which is relevant documents to your industry. And then it wasn't complicated. The documents that they need was very, very precise. So you don't really have to worry. Like for the banks, they would require you to send like 20 documents. No. For MicroLeap, you just had to, like, for example, 5 important documents, and they are able to give you your fact sheet and get your approval. So that was really easy. And then, yeah, basically, it was very beneficial for us. Besides that, they were also very flexible in their interest rate, payment, and tenure. You can choose your rate depending on your comfort level, and assisting in getting corporate funders, flexible in repayment schemes, which we pick the balloon payment. Okay. And then they also were very, very had good pool of responsive investors. If you were, we were fully funded in less than 10 days. Even though you had 30 days lifespan to get fully funded. So, and they had like full marketing strategy, social media support, and fast disbursement to the full quantum. So I have like a slide, not many, just a few. Can we put on the slide, please? Okay, so basically this is what so based on the initial evaluation they had, so our credit score was like a low risk 3. So you want to be at the low risk, okay? And we had 350,000 financing amount, which right now we are already on our 4th note, going on 5th, okay? And we are looking for the reason for us is working capital, because we needed to expand our market reach to other areas at other parts of the world, and it's also for our local business as well. And then we picked 6 months balloon payment, which is shown in the next slide. Next slide, please. Okay, so total financing of 350,000. So we pick 6 months, and reason why we did the balloon payment structure is because of so that we have enough working capital throughout. And then, but like what Matt mentioned, we would have our money back by the 6th month, and it would be better for both sides. Yeah. So yeah, so this is I encourage whoever who's having difficulties in these times, yes, please do get your financial support from MicroLeap. They are very friendly. The team is very approachable, they are very accommodating, and they will give you a really good advice on how they can help your business. Yeah. Thank you so much. Thanks, Navina.
Thank you so much for that, Farina. Thank you for joining us today. So next up, ladies and gentlemen, we have a presentation from HDC. We have Encik Hafiz Jamaluddin, head of the Halal Integrated Platform, to talk to you about the Halal Integrated Platform. So Hafiz, over to you.
Thank you, Navina. So I hope I don't take up so much time because I think we have to finish this by 12:30, right? So, okay, let me start with, introducing what is Halal Integrated Platform. Before that, let me just share my screen. Okay, now Halal Integrated Platform. So just a brief overview of what is Halal Integrated Platform. Halal Integrated Platform is actually a platform that hosts the halal ecosystem. So everyone can actually register. It's for free. You can go into hip.hdcglobal.com where you can go there and actually register as a user. And of course, if you have a business, we will encourage you to also fill up the business profile. Now, what does it do? It's actually a platform where we want to host the halal ecosystem. When we talk about halal ecosystem, it's not like any other platform where you provide e-commerce, you are an e-commerce or marketplace. No, we are not doing that. This is something that is a bit different from what we have out there. The concept of halal integrated platform is practically similar to the concept of shopping mall. So that's the reason why I have this. Imagine, if you look at this picture, right? As a in a shopping mall, you have retail chain store, you have food court, you have cinemas, and you have so many things that's available for you. So as a consumer or as a visitor of a shopping mall, each and every one that come into the shopping mall have a different objective, different ideas of what you want to do in the shopping mall. So let's say, for example, some of the people, they go to shopping mall because they want to watch a cinema. Some of them, they just want to hang out and have some food, or some of them just want to go shopping and whatnot. So this is the concept that we are inculcating inside our halal integrated platform, whereby as for the business owner, when they come into our halal integrated platform, they can actually pick and choose what is actually suitable for them. So later I will share with you what is available in halal integrated platform. Of course, the reason why we provide this facility or this infrastructure is for us to develop our industry player, our halal industry players. So we connect everyone into one ecosystem whereby we connect the industry players, the service provider, government agencies, businesses, consumer into one halal ecosystem. So that's what our objective is. Of course, at the end of the day, being an agency under MITI, we would like to groom, we would like to help and facilitate to grow all this business to become exporter in the halal industry. So that is actually our main goal. So we want to start from the bottom, from the very micro level all the way up into exporter. So that is actually our aspiration. Of course, that's not going to happen overnight. However, with the facility or the services that we offer inside our halal integrated platform, we hope that the businesses can actually leverage on this. So now, what is available in our halal integrated platform? So as you can see, this is practically a snapshot of what we have. So we have funding facilitation, a marketplace, business networking, practically we try to have as many things as possible so that like Dato Dr. Ahmad Ramzi mentioned earlier, say that business owner don't have time to do to read books, to do good, to go to YouTube and try to learn things. So what we do is actually we try to address this issue, whereby we will do the research. We will engage government agency and try to consolidate everything, whatever that is we think that is actually useful for businesses. to be available here. So as a business owner, you come in and similar to the shopping mall, you can pick and choose what is actually suitable for you. So as you can see now, we have trainings, we have halal ingredient database, we have halal and advisory services, we have knowledge center, you have logistic, business support. So now let me just share with you some idea, when we talk about services in HIP. So this is practically what we made to offer. Okay, when we talk about funding facilitation, we work with banks, so we understand and we hear the market when the market said that when it comes to bank, when it comes to loans, it's quite sometimes it's quite difficult for SMEs to actually apply the financing facility because of the certain restriction. You need to be at least 2 years established company, and then you have to be profitable and whatnot. So hence, that's the reason why we are working closely with Security Commission Capital Market to start introducing the alternative financing. I wouldn't say alternative. For me, it's just like, the bank is covering certain spectrum, but P2P, crowdfunding, and all this is covering the other spectrum. So at the end of the day, what we want to offer to our members, HIP members, is that you don't have to look at the bank as your first choice. You can also look at P2P and crowdfunding as your first choice. Maybe bank can be your second choice. It depends on the situation. I know, case to case basis. So hence, that's the reason why we want to introduce this when we talk about funding facilitation. And the rest, for example, like e-marketplace, we would like to provide each and every we would like to provide e-marketplace platform that covers one platform, one countries. So our members can actually pick and choose. If they want to sell the product to India, they just jump into this one platform. They want to sell product to Indonesia, they jump to another. So that is what we are trying to establish. So you can pick and choose which country that you want to penetrate. And then we have go to halal market programs where we provide market access. And then we have halal ingredient database, where we have a list of products that you can use to substitute in order for you to get the halal certificates. Because for your information, when we talk about halal integrated platform, we cover two spectrum of the users. One is actually the business owner that don't have halal certificate yet, what we call a pre-certification, meaning to say they are producing halal products, but they have not yet obtain their halal certification from JAKIM or any certification body authorized by JAKIM. So we want to encourage them to get that halal certificate. Now, next, once they get the halal certificate, that's where we go to the next level, where we will bring them into the halal industry. When we talk about we would bring them to the halal market. When we talk about halal market, we are looking at not just Malaysia, we are looking at beyond Malaysia. So we hope that we can actually open up the market for B2B, because as per mentioned by Encik Adli earlier, the halal industry is quite massive. It's a $3 trillion worth of market value, and we are no near to that. So that's what we are trying to do. We are trying to fill up the space. We are giving opportunity for businesses to get that pie, that piece of pie in the market. All right. So hence, that is actually when we talk about halal ingredient database. And then we have halal incubation project for entrepreneurs. This is actually a tool for business to do assessment, self-assessment, where they can actually understand what they need to improve in terms of their business. And then we are also covering the talent, the job, the halal professional aspect of it. So in order for you to get halal certificate, you need to have at least one halal professional. So we have a talent pool. You can tap into that talent pool and hire to your and also acquire them to be part of your business. And then next, we have business matching and networking. Of course, we are leveraging on our G2G relationship between us and other countries. So by having that, we have access to multiple market. And then we are also launching our procurement of halal supply and services soon, inshallah, by the end of the year. Now, this is just a snapshot of what we do in halal integrated platform. Now, you may ask, how does this relate to the topic that we are talking right now. Okay, now, having to have this platform, it allow us to actually introduce new things, because when you look at the halal industry from from our point of view, it's a bit traditional in the sense that everyone will be looking at, okay, when it comes to financial facility, the first thing that they will seek for is grant. Number two is banks, and other than that, it's never part of their choice. So we understand that nowadays we have so many various or options for financial facility. So that's the reason why today we are also working. We are working closely with Microlip and also ETIS, and we would like to introduce that in our halal integrated platform. So let me just share with you how does it look like. So what you need to do, you can register now. As we go along, you can just follow what I do. So if you want to register, you go to hip.hcglobal.com and click register, and then you just fill up your email and a password, and click get started, and then you get your account registered. Okay, for myself, because I already registered, so let me just sign in. Okay. So once you sign in, you can see the landing page. Now, it is a portal, but it allows you to have access to HDC. For example, right now, if you want to get training from HDC, you can just simply click a button from one of these training, and we will contact you. But what I would like to focus on is on the financial facility. So this is the area where, of course, we are working with Bank Islam, but I understand that based on our engagement with Bank Islam and whatnot, we can see that there are a lot of, not few, but a lot of application got rejected because of the criteria. So knowing that fact, that's the reason why we are introducing our peer-to-peer lending platform, Microlip and ETIS Venture, into as part of this ecosystem. We want to give them an awareness. We want to give them some sort of education in terms of look, you don't have to look at just for you don't have to look at for grants and loans. You can actually go into the peer-to-peer lending. And in fact, during our discussion with capital market, we are looking at introducing other technologies such as crowdfunding, and maybe equity funding and whatnot lah. So we are trying to open up this opportunity, and we are giving this facility. We are offering this facility to our members. So yes, we are giving ideas to them, and from my point of view, I can see that there's actually two opportunities here as a business owner. Number one, you can actually, as a business owner, let's say for example, you don't need to have a fund, you don't need to do, or you don't need to get any financing. So what you do is that you can actually be an investor and create another extra revenue channel for your business. So that's where you can actually simply click be an investor. That's where one of these platform can actually help you. You can choose, you can be an investor in Microlip, and you can either be in Microlip or ETIS. I mean, I have to confess that I am actually right now an investor of Microlip. I do look at the the funding note and whatnot, and of course, AP Digital is one of the funding note that I've been waiting for lah. So so yeah, I mean, those are the ideas that we want to inculcate in our business owner as well. You don't just when you have extra money, or you have money that you want to invest, this can be one of the channels that you can actually consider. But on the other hand, when it comes to funding, yes, I think most of the SMEs, they don't go into this because they don't understand what is P2P. Maybe it sounded so alien for them. It's something that is something new. Even sometimes when we talk about loan as well, for them is is so sophisticated. So this is the part where in HDC, when we talk about halal ecosystem, this is the part where we are working. We will be working together closely with Security Commission to start educating them. To start telling them, to start sharing with them. In fact, just now the case study of DGK is quite good. In fact, the AP Digital case study is quite good to in order to get the message across to our SMEs. So I would urge our member, and in fact our new member, whoever that own a business, do register in HIP and set up your business here, and then you can simply click this button. If you want to raise fund, you click this button, and it will lead you to microlead, and microlead will help you to register on for you. And then of course we are trying to see if we can make it seamless in the future, so that you don't have to be, at the moment it's just a link, but we will be integrating, so that in the future, whenever that you want to raise fund and whatnot, it's just going to be a click of a button, and it will bring you there. So that is actually what we are trying to trying to promote here, because in halal integrated platform, we have, at least at the moment, we have about 3,000 companies registered under us. So now our job is actually to educate them, to tell them that, look, there is this new thing going on right now. I think it's similar to other technologies as well, because when we look at the halal industry, there's so many potential, and especially there's so many new products. For example, like the ghost kitchen concept is something new, and I think it can go far. So there are so many products similar to what Datuk did. In fact, we have so many good products, but they are struggling in terms of expanding due to financial access. So hence, this is the part where once you register with HIP, what we do is that we are not just routing you to them, to microleap or to ETs, but we are also giving you access to market. We are doing business matching. We are also providing other services as well, like logistic and whatnot, all this, right? So I would encourage everyone to register with HIP, and that's where we can closely work together, and hopefully we can introduce things that will help you to expand your business. So practically, that is what we want to do. Our goal is to make sure you grow. So hence, we will try as much as possible to provide you as many facilities, similar to going back to the the shopping mall concept, where right now we have a lot of shops, but we are trying to fill up our shop with all those interesting things for your business. So that's what the HIP is all about. So if you have any question, please feel free to ask. But then I think I have to end my presentation here, because it's already 12:30. So thank you, Nawina.
Thank you very much for that, Hafiz. Ladies and gentlemen, so that was a very comprehensive presentation on the integrated platform. And I think if you have any questions, it would be good to go to the platform. There aren't any questions in the chat box, but if you have any, please do visit the platform. It looks like there's so much that HDC is offering on this integrated platform. So ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of this session. Thanks so much for staying with us. Apologize that we have gone over time a little bit, but on behalf of Capital Markets Malaysia, I also want to reiterate our thanks to the Halal Development Corporation for their support, and we are very much looking forward to future collaborations with them. I would also like to thank all our speakers from Ethis and Microleap, as well as your customers. And I hope everyone found this to be a useful and beneficial session. So till next time, thanks everyone and have a good day.